Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another video. Today I'm bringing you my February plans, in which I will let you know what books I will definitely be reading this month, as well as what books I might potentially be buying this month. And you will be able to let me know what you think of those books and what books I should get. But that's at the end of the video. Firstly, I want to sort of recap January for you and just briefly tell you the books that I did read last month. So last month I managed to read 7 books, and 6 of those I've already wrapped up, and I will be linking the videos up here so you can go check them out. In the first wrap up I talk about I'll Let You Go by Claire McIntosh, God's Grave by J. Christoph, and Down by Contact by Santino Hassel. And then in the second one I talk about The Stone in the Skull by Elizabeth Bear, Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood, and Iron Gold by Piers Brown. Now the last book that I managed to read in January was Autobiography by Christina Lauren, and I will be wrapping that up in the next video that comes out, and that is going to be on Thursday actually, so you don't have to wait too long. I will also start mentioning what TV shows and movies I watched, because I think that's like sort of a fun thing to do. And I did manage to watch 2 movies in January, and they're both dance related. The first one is Dirty Dancing, which is one of my favorite movies, and actually I've seen it so many times that I sort of just skim through it or actually go to my favorite scenes. And aside from the last dance scene, one of my favorite scenes is that where there's Hungry Eyes by Eric Carmen playing, if you know it, when they're practicing. I love that scene because Patrick Swayze in his bag. Haha, love it. And I also watch Save the Last Dance. This is another dance movie, and I've watched it years back. I was obsessed with it, and I rewatched it many times, but it's been a while and I sort of forgot a lot about it, but I was not invested in it this time around, so basically really just skimmed through it just to sort of get to the dance scenes and all that. And yeah, I really liked it. I watched 2 shows, or at least part of one. I watched Alias Grace on Netflix, which, you know, because I read the book, I wanted to see the show as well, and it's really well done. I really liked it. It sticks close to the book, and I really enjoyed it. Again, those historical elements, I love them. And I also started watching Friends on Netflix, and I'm actually not sure what season I'm in now. I think it's like 6 or 7. Not sure. Pretty sure it's probably 7 actually, and I'm really enjoying them. I'm not that huge of a fan. I have a friend who was a huge fan of Friends, and she would tape every episode when it came out. I was not that obsessed, nor am I now, but still I really love them. And I have to say that I think my favorite season so far is definitely season 5. And wait, I don't think this is spoilery if I tell you. I mean, it's been forever since this show actually aired originally, and I actually really love season 5 because of Chandler and Monica. I just love when they get together for the first time, and it's a lot of fun. I really like them, and yeah, they're basically my favorite couple. But yeah, okay, so that's January. Now let's get to February. Regarding my TBR, I will be only mentioning the arcs that I have that I would like to read and review for you guys, and the first of those is Sideways by Susan Dennard. I only have a preview of this book, so I will not actually be reviewing it. I will just be letting you know how I feel about the beginning of this book, but it comes out on the 13th of February, and when I do get the book I will be talking about it a lot more, I think. Then I have The Pretty Boy Must Die by Kimberly Reed, which is this actiony young adult book about this guy who works for the CIA, and he's currently undercover in this school, and he's trying to figure out who this world-class hacker is. And meanwhile his cover gets blown and he gets into a lot of trouble, and he has to save his ass and everyone else. And I'm currently reading this one, and it's a lot of fun, and this one also comes out on the 13th of February. Then I have The Book of the Whispers by Kimberly Starr, which comes out again on the 13th of February, so I think it's pretty safe to say that you can expect a wrap-up on that day. And this is a historical fantasy, I'm thinking. It's about this boy, Luca, who lives in the 11th century, and he can see demons even though that nobody else can, and he also dreams, and his dreams apparently come true, and he sees in one of his dreams, he sees his father getting murdered, so he's that sad to save his father, so he decides to accompany him on this pilgrimage, and along the way he acquires this book, which is apparently very powerful, and off he goes onto an adventure. And I'm really looking forward to this one. It sounds sort of very interesting and fun, and yes, more of that next week when I'll be wrapping up these books for you. And the last arc that I have for this month is White Sand Volume 2 by Brandon Sanderson. I have a PDF, protected PDF, have no clue as yet how to open that, so I'll have to figure that out before I can actually read it. I read the first volume last year when it came out, or actually it was 2016 I think by now, and I have pre-ordered this one when, you know, Book Depository last year, it was supposed to come out in November, and then it was pushed to December, and now it's coming out in February. So I expect to get it sometime in March. But apparently, hopefully, I'll be reading this as a preview or as an arc, although I'm not sure if it's like a full thing or whatever. As I said, when I manage to open it, I'll be seeing what it is. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I actually read the book on which this is based last year. You can basically write to Brandon Sanderson and he will send you this one because it's not a published manuscript, but he's really generous with this stuff, and it's actually a really fantastic book. I really liked it. Really enjoyed it, so I really like the graphic novel as well. And now let's move to the second half of this video, in which I will let you know what books are currently in my basket on Book Depository, and basically show you what my process regarding buying books is, you know, how I decide which books to get or not get and things like that. Anyways, I did this same thing in January, and you can still, you know, expect a book haul from that, just as soon as I get all the books, but yeah. So let's get to the books. So the first book in my basket is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, which I'm pretty sure I butchered. Now the funny thing is that I have been seeing this book on BookTube, but I'm not sure what it's about. I still don't know actually. I've heard Reagan from Peru's Project talk about it and she seems to like it. I know that it takes place in Cairo and it's sort of Middle Eastern, but if it's fantasy or just historical, I'm not sure. I think it's fantasy because there's talk about genies, I think. But for some reason I don't really care because I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get it. I want it. I feel like I have to have it, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get this one. And I actually have two versions of this book in my basket. I have a hardcover and a paperback, and the reason for that is that I just discovered that the hardcover is actually cheaper than a paperback, which makes very little sense, but there you go. And also, if these books were full price, there would be like 50 cents difference between the hardcover and the paperback, which would still mean that I would get the hardcover. So yeah, I'm thinking that I'm gonna get the hardcover, and I'm pretty sure that you can expect this book in my next book haul. Then the next book that I have is This Mortal Coil by Emily Suveda. I have been seeing this book on BookTube again. The thing is, I very rarely see people, I see people talk about that they want to read it or they haul it, but I rarely see them actually talk about it after they've read it, so I'm not sure how people feel about it. I think it's sort of a mystery, like a thriller or something like that. But yeah, if you have read it, let me know down in the comments. Is it worth buying? I'm not sure, because with thrillers and mysteries, it's like, you know, I don't like buying them because I don't think that I will be rereading them. With fantasy, I don't have that problem because I always expect that at some point I will be rereading them, even though it's not likely that it's going to be soon, but still I do go, you know, into buying them with that idea in my head. But with this, you know, when it comes to mysteries and thrillers, I'm not that sure, you know. I have to really like the author to do that. So do let me know if you have an opinion, please. And then the next book that I have is one that I'm probably gonna get, and it's Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan, which is book 6 in his The Wheel of Time series. I'm currently finishing book 4, and I plan to read book 5 this month, or more or less the whole thing anyways. And of course then I would be moving on to book 6. Now the decision that I have to make with this one is whether I buy it in my local bookstore or on Book Depository, again depending when it's going to be cheaper. But yeah. Then the next book that I have is one that you've seen me talk about in my last, well, in January plans, because it was in that video as well, and that is Etched in Bone by Anne Bishop, which is the last book in the other series that I have already read, but I'm missing this one because I'm getting them in his mass market paperbacks. Sorry for that. Anyways, and this one just came out last month, and I have not bought it yet because I have already read it, so, you know, there's no pressure for me to get it, but I would like to just conclude the series, to have the whole thing on my shelves. But clearly last month, spoiler alert, I didn't buy it. So yeah, you might be seeing this book in a lot of my videos, these planned videos anyways. Then the next book that I have is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon Maguire, which is book 3 in the Wayward Children series. Now I have not read book 2 yet, and I was not actually planning to buy this one, but it's actually again cheaper right now because they don't have it full price. Like it's 20% off, which means that it's like €3 cheaper than it usually would be. And these books are really expensive for some reason. For such tiny things, they're pretty expensive. So yeah, I'm conflicted about this one. I mean, I don't feel the need to buy it yet, but of course the price might be very compelling. What would you do? Let me know down in the comments. And then another book that I have here is actually one that I'm not gonna get, but I have not deleted it from my basket yet, and that is the Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. And if you want to know when I'm not gonna buy it, you will be, you'll have to wait for my Thursday video for the wrap-up in which I'm gonna talk about this book. Yeah, I read it. I've received an hard copy and I read it, and I'm not gonna get it, despite the beautiful cover. The US cover is so beautiful, really. It just kills me that I'm not gonna get it. And then the last book that I have is another fantasy, and it's Air Awakens by Lisa Kova. You have been probably hearing about this author lately. She's pretty popular, or becoming more popular anyways, and I think this is sort of an elemental magic kind of book about this woman who is planning to be something else, but then fate sort of pushes her in another direction or something like that. I'm not sure. I do know that I would like to read her books, or at least start reading them to see how I feel about them. But again, I'll see, what other books I plan to get, and then see whether or not this one will fit in, simply because I do want, that I don't want to buy more than 50 books officially, or, I don't want to really go too much hard on that anyways, so we'll see, I don't know. But yes, these are the books that are currently in my basket on Book Depository. If you have an opinion, as I said, leave it down in the comments. I do appreciate them. And yeah, this is it for this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!